Hello, ladies and gentlemen, HoloTide here, and today I'm going to break down the Marathon security and networking article that they just posted on the Bungie website. They dropped a deep dive on how Marathon is going to handle networking and anti-cheat, and honestly, I actually think there's a lot to unpack here. Some of the stuff is genuinely impressive. Some of it kind of raises questions, and there's one or two things I think the community needs to pay close attention to. Cheating, cannot be tolerated, especially in this genre. People will quit playing the game if the anti-cheat is just not up to par. They got to be flexible and adaptive. They got to be able to make sure that as soon as they fix one exploit, cheaters are going to try to figure something else out. So we're going to break it all down because if you're planning to play Marathon, this stuff will directly affect your experience. So let's get into it. But first, this video is sponsored by me. If you guys like Marathon content, you want to stay up to date with it, make sure you subscribe. Trying to hit 25,000 subscribers by the end of this year, and I think that I can do it with your help. We're growing exponentially, so thank you. So let's play the little 30-second clip that Bungie posted along with this article.
The world of Tau Ceti is a dangerous place. You should either be dying because Tau Ceti and other players got you, or that you make a bad decision.
You want to know that it's a level playing field. All of the information that you're getting needs to be precise and accurate.
These are the things we have to get right if we're going to make a game in this genre. Like, it's non-negotiable.
All right, so after that, on the article page, Bungie gives us a bullet point overview of their whole security approach, and I want to read through it because it does set the stage for everything else. This includes like dedicated servers, new networking that keeps movement feeling responsive even with packet loss, fog of war to block wall hacks and ESP cheats, a brand new security stack on top of BattleEye, reconnection support if you drop mid-run, gear refunds if their servers are to blame, and permanent bans for anyone caught cheating. There are no second chances. And I think the last one, the permaban, is a bold line in the sand. I respect it, but I also think that it's expected. We've seen games try to do the slap on the wrist approach. It just doesn't work. Cheaters make new accounts, they come right back. So Bungie saying you're done forever, I think is the right approach. The game does cost money too, but whether they can enforce it at scale is the real question, and I hope that the commitment is there for that. Bungie says the dedicated server is fully authoritative over movement, shooting, actions, and inventory. What that means in plain English is that your client, your PC, your console, it doesn't get to quote-unquote lie to the server. I think like one of the scenarios that I saw was your game says I teleported behind you, the server says no you didn't and rejects that. They've also paired this with client-side prediction and rewind. So locally, the game feels snappy and responsive, but the server can go, actually, here's what really happened, and we'll correct it. This is an established model that other games use. I believe Valorant does something similar, but we'll see how it works out in the extraction space. Now, somebody that comes from, like Halo and like Halo Infinite's desync and all those issues with the servers, something that caught my eye was that they're literally tracking like every single bullet server side and accounting for packet loss so your shots don't get dropped. They've built in aim compensation with rewind so you can hit moving targets, even accounting for bullet travel time. And they're careful in the sense that they're not going to let people with great connections shooting you behind cover. I think it's going to be tricky for them to balance it. You play a lot of games and dying behind a wall is a meme at this point. So if they can actually pull this off, it's huge, cautiously optimistic, but I want to see it in action during the server slam. Next up, we got the Fog of War system, and I really don't see a lot of people talking about this. The server controls what information your client even receives about the world around you. So if a player is like outside your line of sight and sensor range, your client just doesn't know they exist. And this is a direct countermeasure to two of the most annoying cheats in any multiplayer game. That's wall hacks and loot revealers. Wall hacks let cheaters see through geometry. Loot revealers show every piece of gear on the map through walls. Both are just absolutely ridiculous in extraction shooters. So with server-side Fog of War, even if a cheater hacks the client, there's simply no data to exploit. I think this is the right approach. I'm glad they went this route. The alternative is sending all the data and just hoping the client doesn't misuse it is not great. So props to Bungie for, building this at the architecture level rather than bolting it on as an afterthought. The real question is like how granular the system will be and whether there will be exploits that people can still find when they're cheating, but conceptually, like everything else in this, strong foundation. Now we have the client security section, and this is intentionally vague. Bungie says they've built new proprietary security layers on top of BattleEye, including both user mode and kernel mode components. And that basically says we're not going to tell you the details because that would just tell cheaters what to work around. I know a lot of people get uncomfortable about kernel level anti-cheat, and I understand, I get it. It's a real conversation about what software you're allowing deep access to your system, but honestly, if you want to stop the most sophisticated cheats, you need to be operating at that level. It's the same reason Riot's Vanguard works better than a lot of alternatives. Now, Bungie has done this in the past where they've been intentionally vague with their security stuff, and if you've played Destiny 2, so we'll see. Now we have the analytics and detections section, and I actually really like this. Bungie says their servers are constantly collecting telemetry on everything players are doing, and that data gets run through back-end analysis to catch unusual patterns. So, if a cheater slips through in the moment they're playing, they might be able to catch them later and issue a ban retroactively. This is good because this kind of expands the real anti-cheat ecosystem. You don't just catch people at the gate or in the moment. You watch for patterns over time, just weird things, accuracy rates, movement data, all these things will leave a trail. And I also think that this kind of psychologically has an effect on cheat developers because tools might work briefly, but then a couple days later, there's a mass ban down the line once the detection catches up. So everybody's on their toes. So this section is important for extraction shooter veterans. You know the feeling where you've got a backpack full of rare loot, you're about to extract, and then your internet blips. And in most games, that's just a loss. Your gear is gone. But Bungie's solution is that when you disconnect, your character stays in the world. Your squad can protect you. You can finally reboot your connection or whatever's happening at home, relaunch the game, reconnect to your shell mid-run, and finish it. So if that works reliably, I think that's a game changer. The anxiety of having drop connections in a high stakes game like this is real. And I think it's a great quality of life feature, but I do think there has to be limits. So we'll see how this works out in the end. Economy security is up next. It's a short section, but it has big implications. They're trying to protect against item duplication exploits and other economic cheats. I think that definitely matters more than people might initially think. In extraction shooters, the economy kind of is the game. If item duplication gets out of control, the whole progression loop kind of crashes. The whole reason you care about surviving a run is because the gear you have has real value. If you protect the economy, you protect the game. Bungie knows this from Destiny, and I trust they're not going to let this slide. Bungie wraps up all of this reminding us that networking and security is a forever conversation. They're going to monitor the live game. They're going to push updates, continuously invest in the systems. There will be an appeals process for anyone who gets flagged, quote unquote, incorrectly. And while no detection system is perfect and wrongful bans do happen, I just feel like it's not as much as people like to say. I would like to know how fast the appeals process actually moves, because if you're just sitting around for weeks at a time and you actually didn't cheat, I feel like you're probably not even gonna care and you're just gonna move on. So, overall, I'm actually pretty impressed by the level of thought that has gone into this. It's not just, we're throwing BattleEye at it, good luck. I think that they've clearly thought about this at the architecture level, but, we're not going to find out until the server slam and, the first few months of Marathon being out how well it's actually going to work. Bungie knows what they're doing. They know what to say in these situations. They always say the right things. A lot of companies do, but the proof is in the pudding. So drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you confident in Bungie's approach here? Are you skeptical? I genuinely want to know. Like the video if it was useful. Subscribe if you're not already. Hype the video, all that cool stuff, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.